Coming up, police in Wayne County are searching for an escaped inmate. We'll tell you who they're looking for. And in Lee County, officials are trying to deal with an increase in overdose deaths, which shows no sign of slowing down.
It's a calm start to the work week, but we've got changes on the way before all is said and done. I've got the latest on the way. It's First at 4. Continue.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
There are a lot of questions today after an inmate escaped from a southern Kentucky jail. Police say what is puzzling to them is that the inmate got away 2 days before law enforcement knew about it. WYMT's Phil Pendleton asked about what happened and has more from Monticello.
Sheriff Tim Catron tells me that his office and other first responders here in Wayne County learned of the escape on Sunday night, but a further investigation revealed that the escape had actually taken place on Friday. Now officials want to know why there was a 2-day delay in reporting of inmate Joseph Payton escaping. He's a state inmate who pleaded guilty to drug trafficking charges and received a 10-year sentence. Jailer Ronnie Ellis did not want to talk on camera, but says Payton did receive an unpleasant call from his wife saying that she wanted out of that relationship. He believes he used weight equipment to climb over the fence and possibly a towel to get around the razor wire. He said we would need to ask his deputies what happened. He says he can't be there 24/7.
It's very concerning. I can't understand how that happened. There were supposed to be places in place to make sure that doesn't happen. The inmates had to be accounted for.
The jailer tells me that he is making some changes to that outdoor recreation area, such as moving some of the weights out of that outdoor area. In Wayne County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
The jailer says police did check with Payton's wife, but there was no sign of him there. They say he could have gone back to Indiana, where he is from. Lee County has seen an increase in overdose cases and deaths. Health officials say they are in the double digits for March alone. The county, has experienced 26 cases total, 7 of which were DOAs. Health officials say the increase comes from isolation caused by the pandemic and new fentanyl-laced drugs coming into the region. Public Health Director Scott Lockard says they are combating the county's issue with a facility called The Hub.
We're trying to provide a one-stop shop for individuals with substance use disorder. We have peer counseling here, we have linkage to resources, and we have linkage to treatment. So far, we have actually transported over 20 individuals to treatment.
Lockard says the best way you can help is to reach out to those affected by addiction and to learn how to administer Narcan. Baptist Health Corbin is starting a new program to assist college students on the pre-med track. The Pre-Med Academy program will allow students to develop mentorships with local physicians while getting experience with a variety of specialties. Dr. Andrew Parks at BHC says this is a great way for students to pad a resume close to home.
Now, really to have something additional to put on a resume to make them more competitive, with some of the other regions across the state.
The academy begins this summer, and they say it will become an annual program. We'll have more about it tonight at 6. A
little breezy out there, but still plenty of sunshine as we work through the remainder of our Monday evening. Not too bad, though we are starting to see a few clouds work into our southwestern sections. Mountain Parkway camera at Slade, you could start to see the increase in some of those high clouds working into the Kentucky River Valley. A little more as you head down toward I-75. It's not impacting the sunshine much at all. The sunshine, well, it's filtered out there at the moment, but all is quiet in terms of any kind of rainfall around the region. However, it is chilly. We're a bit milder, I guess that's the term to use, in the Cumberland Valley, where we're in the upper 40s and low 50s, whereas the rest of the region low to mid 40s this afternoon. Wise up to 41. Logan's the cool spot at 39. We're all dry at the moment. Nothing in terms of any kind of rain or anything like that, thanks to high pressure in place. But we'll be keeping an eye on those showers trying to work into the region. We're in the mid 30s overnight as we continue to watch mostly cloudy skies work into the region. I'll have the very latest on when showers and even some thunderstorms could return coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. The number of people who've fled Ukraine is nearing 4 million. That's according to the UN Refugee Agency. The most intense fighting is now happening in eastern Ukraine, where Russia is concentrating its efforts and may be focused on trying to split off part of the country. CBS's Skylar Henry has the latest.
Ukrainians in the southern city of Kherson took to the streets to protest the Russian invasion and occupation, as explosions could be heard in the distance. Pentagon officials believe Russia has launched nearly 1,400 missiles into Ukraine, but isn't furthering its advance on the capital city, Kyiv. The Kremlin says ceasefire negotiations will resume Tuesday. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he's ready for a compromise in the eastern Donbas region, which has been partially controlled by Russia-backed separatists since 2014. Here in Washington, President Biden is downplaying unscripted comments he made over the weekend when he said Russian President Vladimir Putin cannot remain in power.
I want to make it clear, I wasn't then, nor am I now, articulating a policy change. I was expressing the moral outrage that I feel, and I make no apologies for it.
Idaho Senator Jim Risch, the ranking Republican member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, called President Biden's comment a, quote, horrendous gaffe. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
The Kremlin said it's not up to President Biden or any American to decide who will run Russia, saying that is up to the voters in Russia to decide. NASA says astronaut Mark Vande Hei will return from the International Space Station later this month on a Russian spacecraft as previously planned. Today, NASA says it's still working closely with Russia's space agency despite mounting geopolitical tensions. During Vande Hei's mission, which started last April, he broke the record for the longest single space flight by an American astronaut, which had stood at 340 days. He returns with 2 cosmonauts on March 30th after 355 days in space. A big win for the House Select Committee investigating the U.S. Capitol attack. Monday, a federal judge in California ordered lawyer John Eastman to turn over more than 100 emails to the committee. The emails are between Eastman and former President Trump in the days leading up to the January 6th attack and the following day. Eastman wanted to keep the emails under wraps, but the judge said, quote, based on the evidence, the court finds it more likely than not that President Trump corruptly attempted to obstruct the joint session of Congress on January 6, 2021. Some American Red Cross employees could walk off the job at the end of the month. The Teamsters Union in Portland, Maine has given the Red Cross a 10-day notice to strike, saying it is over staffing issues relating to contract negotiations. On Sunday, a couple dozen people stood outside a donor center in Portland. They held up signs that read, "Stop bleeding your workers." A union representative says workers tell him they just want a fair contract and adds there may be other factors involved with the national blood shortage.
They keep sending out messages about donors and needing more donors, and the donors are not the issue. The issue is the Red Cross is unable to fulfill their mission of collecting the blood because of staffing levels.
In response, a regional communications manager for that area stated, quote, the Red Cross remains committed to negotiating in good faith to reach the best possible agreement for both the organization and our valued employees. Red Cross workers in other states are also planning to strike on March 31st if a contract is not agreed upon. FedEx is testing new technology to make dropping off packages easier. The company says it's trying out electric carts in 10 North American cities this year, including New York and Toronto. The idea is this would help with major parking challenges in big cities. Coming up on First at 4, trucks and SUVs are the most popular vehicles on U.S. roads, but experts say that could be leading to more pedestrian accidents.
And sunny outside now, but clouds will eventually work back into parts of the region tonight. I'll break it all down on the way next.